It's a good mood to be in.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Laser Haas coming to you live from Southern California for the Social Internet News Network. That's right, we're reporting on their sin. And what I'm bringing to you today is a acknowledgement of a paradigm that we're not taking advantage of. We, the 99%, are getting screwed over by the oligarchs, the Lloyd Blankfeins, the David Solomons, the Mitt Romneys. You know, I got a special need to, if he wasn't a senator, I'd be throwing mud bombs at that guy. Let me make this point clear, right? Everybody knows that Mitt Romney, Bain Capital, and Goldman Sachs have stolen from the toy industry. They completely destroyed it. They stole from Mattel $4 billion. They stole $1 billion from eToys. They ripped off Fingerhut. The list goes on and on. Hundreds of crimes because they're doing cronyism and corruption. They steal from us and they use the money to grease the wheels so that their lawyers become the federal prosecutors. Jay Clayton and others at the SEC said that crypto, Bitcoin, wasn't a security, but then they went to work for people who are competition that the SEC is suing about being a security with Bitcoin or whatever. And this is bullshit. So Empower Oversight is suing to do the same thing that I basically have been doing about eToys. Colm Connolly was a U.S. attorney in Delaware who said no to prosecuting the crimes that I got confessions to. And the end result of that is that Joe Biden and his son, Beau Biden, who's actually Joseph Biden III, God rest his soul, he passed away, helped me stop Colm Connolly from becoming a judge in Delaware in 2008. And you can look him up on Twitter. His Twitter handle is Real Prosecutor. He's got me blocked, but everybody else can see it, and he gives me top billing. The idiot, the haughtiness of these fools, these geniuses, they got so much money, they're stupid. The point is that Empower Oversight is suing the SEC and getting a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request done to get the details on how the SEC is being conflict of interest involved in cases that they shouldn't be involved in. That people were taking $1 million plus salary from a law firm representing one person or one entity, that the other entity is getting busted the chops of by the SEC. And that's called racketeering, folks. I don't care if you do it as a government agent or if you do it as an individual or you do it like, Mitt Romney, Bain Capital and Goldman Sachs, Colm Connolly, Paul Traub, Morris Nichols Arcentano, MNAT.com, right? All these guys, Mark Dreyer, Tom Petter's Ponzi, Fingerhut. It's all crimes. It's plain as the nose on your face. But we can't get it prosecuted. Well, now other people are seeing that these guys don't stop. When they know they can't be prosecuted for the organized crimes they're doing, they steal bigger, faster, from as many as they can. And now that it's hurting others, people are starting to react. The toy industry's all gone. FAO Schwartz, Zany Brainy, Parent Company, Gymboree, Jumbo Sports, Stage Stores, eToys, KB, Toys R Us, all gone. They were bled out, then they were bankrupted so they could destroy all the evidence and throw it away because bankruptcy is the end of everything. And then the assets were handed back to Bain KB where they could rinse, lather, and repeat. So eToys and KB were in bankruptcy 3 times. It's a genius business model to stiff your creditors, shareholders, vendors, bank, tax agency, landlords over and over again and again. But it's not legal. How they get away with it is this conflict of interest of planting their crony corrupts who are willfully blind to the bullshit that's going on, the organized crimes. So over $110 billion has been stolen because all these Ponzi schemes and big fraud schemes in New York, Florida, Texas, Minnesota, they were all part of one giant big scheme with different area managers. But Bain Capital and Goldman Sachs never get prosecuted. Paul Traub, I even got feds saying that he controlled Tom Petter's Ponzi, and they didn't prosecute him. That's because Marty Lackner was involved in the Tom Petter's Ponzi, $2 billion plus feeder fund called Lancelot and Skybell, but Marty Lackner wound up dead. Now, here's something that the Wall Street Journal said is not a story. Marty Lackner's brother is James Lackner, Minnesota Assistant United States Attorney, head of the criminal division, that kept telling me that there was no fraud in Tom Petter's Ponzi, that Paul Traub and Tom Petter's weren't doing any wrong. And then before I'm able to see Marty Lackner, he winds up dead in his closet. And nobody reports it. I report Colm Connolly's corruption to the Los Angeles Public Corruption Task Force, because reporting it in Delaware ain't going to do no good. Colm Connolly's not going to investigate himself. And it's such a small state, they're all swimming in each other's pocket in Rehoboth Beach. Well, guess who else is in Rehoboth Beach? I was, and so was one of my not too far away neighbors, Joe Biden. Yep, that's right. The Biden family lives in Rehoboth Beach. Small community, 1,600 people. You know, everybody's forgotten me. I've been away from there for 20 years. But the thing is that Joe Biden and his son helped me. And Joe Biden's son, Bo Biden, was the AG of Delaware, was supposed to turn around and help me when the feds dropped the case. Well, they dropped it in 2015. And then coincidentally, Bo Biden wound up dead a few months later. Case went away. I report Colm Connolly's fraud. Senator Biden couldn't get involved, so people with the good faith in Delaware, you know, Joe Biden and all of them, couldn't get involved. But what they did give me was the resume of Colm Connolly that proved that he was a partner of the MNAT law firm that confessed crimes in the eToys case. MNAT was my lawyer. Colm Connolly, the U.S. attorney in Delaware, was my lawyer, was the eToys lawyer, and they stabbed their own clients in the back and they get away with it. It's the cardinal sin. The number one thing lawyers can't do is betray a client's trust. They do it openly, regularly, and they get away with it because they're the ones in charge of seeing who did wrong and prosecuting who did wrong. And they say, no, they didn't do it. I'm sorry, we don't know what happened. So I reported to the Los Angeles Public Corruption Task Force. Timestamp, because a judge helping me that used to be part of a task force told me, get each page timestamp. That will let them know that somebody very important is helping you. And sure enough, I got a reaction. They shut the Public Corruption Task Force down, and he even threatened career federal prosecutors to keep their mouth shut. It was the first time in 8 years that the FBI actually called me. And then what happens is FBI agents start threatening me. I get my SEC whistleblower case numbers and SWAT comes after me. They don't pull my roommate out of the room. They just pull me out of the room, put me in handcuffs. Then they clip my handcuffs, the zip ties off, and say, hurry up back to your room. I don't have no shoes on. I can't hurry. It's gravel outside. It's a parking lot. He said, I said, hurry. I froze. And the brothers standing by said, yeah, bro, don't be an idiot. And I didn't. And the other cop said he's not falling for it. And they put me back in handcuffs again. But this time it was metal ones. I didn't get released until an FBI came by and I said, listen, my girlfriend's a judge. She's a retired federal judge. Either give me my phone call or let me go. This is bullshit. They're saying they don't know who I am. I can't lie to you. You're an FBI agent. This is my name. It's right there in my room. My birth certificate, my license, court papers with my names on it and my nickname. Yes, Laser is a nickname, but it's the one I've been going for, for 40 years outside my wife. Dimbat. Anyway, excuse me. The thing is Empower Oversight is doing exactly what I'm doing, but they're a big organization. The guy was working for a senator in charge of the whistleblower program, a senator who, by the way, won't help me with my whistleblower case, and it's the biggest one of Wall Street that you can find outside of the mortgage crisis, right? Hundreds of crimes, $100 billion. Finger Hut, eToys, Toys R Us, and they rinse, lather, repeat again, because if you can know that you're Capone and you're retroactively retired from your organized crimes, right? That you can't be prosecuted, you steal faster, bigger from as many as you can. It's just the natural order of things. And, rich bastards never have enough. 1 billion, 2 billion, 5 billion. You got frustrated trillionaires all over the planet. Everybody wants to be the first trillionaire. I think there's some already out there manipulating us. That's why they got Democrats and Republicans fighting about this vaccine mess. It's not even a vaccine. It's 2 years of clinical trials, and we're all guinea pigs. It's bullshit. But the important thing is that Stephen Donziger got released from jail because so many were on his side, and they knew that the appeals court, with so many people watching, had to release him from jail. So they just let him out, hoping that he does something wrong, violates, the oversight or something with his limited freedom. So they just let him out, guys like him, guys like Serpico. Serpico is getting finally, hopefully, soon his award with the correct writing and the correct name and the correct certificate and all that stuff. And Athol Williams, Athol Williams from South Africa, who turned down mega millions of dollars as a partner in Bain & Company venture in South Africa. And what happened is he had to flee the country in fear of his life. People were dying. Houses were being broke into. Records were disappearing. But because of his perseverance and the fact that we stayed with him, like we stayed with Donziger, like we stayed with Serpico, right? This is the thing. Our strength is in our numbers. Everybody's so busy, but you can take a couple of hours a week to dedicate your time to helping somebody. Just pick somebody. It doesn't have to be me. I'm so used to, even these good friends, Donziger and Serpico, they never talk about my story. That's all right. Right? I don't need it. The story's big enough. It's never been about me. It's about what they're doing to us. It's the national security problem of infiltrating our systems of justice so that these guys can do crimes openly and get away with it. And that's intolerable. And it's inexplicable that any administration let it go on. Now, purportedly, Gensler and President Joe Biden are out against corruption, and they're saying they're going to bust people's chops. But Eric Holder said the same thing with Sally Yates' memo, and not jack shit happened. When Senator Levin went after Blank Fine got an attorney, and Senator Levin quit. This is what happens. They wear you down over time. And that's costing us. The reason why we don't have $25 an hour minimum wage, which is what we should be, and they should be capped at only 100 times and not 300 or 400 or 700 times the average wage of their employees. Things should be a balance. Everybody should do the Mark Price method. That people get a decent living, that people make a decent income. Mark Price said something wonderful today. He says, I don't see anybody complaining about the fact that people making 20 million, 30 million, 50 million CEO salaries is going to drive the price up. Wonderful saying. All I'm saying is, people, is I'm getting tired of this stuff. I'm coming out. I'm going to do podcasts. Since nobody will interview me or people like me, I have been, or my case has been in the paper hundreds of times. The facts are incontrovertible. And no matter what Romney's Clear Channel stations will say to his following of 100 million people that hate truth and justice, if it's not the truth and justice for the GOP, which is bullshit. Senator Sanders said it right. And I worked 50 plus sessions with him. I got dozens of pictures of me with Senator Sanders. We were supposed to come out. I had given his campaign and was supposed to talk about my case. And then Super Tuesday and the virus happened and everything collapsed. So it was over with. And I don't bother with him about it yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to make it a priority that Senator Sanders looks at this, because it is a national security issue. When they can corrupt our systems of justice, the SEC, the DOJ, the FBI. FBI agents openly threaten me. I'm going to post the vulgar email that I sent to him when an agent called me after Robert Albert, the eToys shareholder, wound up dead. I thought, finally, they're going to turn around and do something about this. It finally was the straw that broke the camel's back. They weren't calling me about stopping the case. They were calling me that I'm the only one left, that if I don't shut the hell up and let Colm Connolly become a judge, that they're going to put me in jail. Since I'm a felon and already got a record, who people going to believe? Me, the felon, or them, the FBI? And I gave them exactly what they needed. And all you federal agents and head of the agencies that sit there and let them get away with it and don't do nothing about it, you duplicitous. You're complicit in the corruption. If you don't weed out the bad apples in your rank, you're letting the whole barrel get sour. We need to stop this bullshit. I love the goodness in this people. I've helped hundreds of cases. I know people like me aren't supposed to turn around and talk to people. It diminishes my standard. The Hollywood rule. There are liars on when Dr. Susan Trimbath helped me, and apes came to my rescue from Reddit, and wonderful people offer me homes, offer me stock, offer me guardianship, offer me food. I can't take none of that because it all get taken away, and it just point out where I'm at, where people can focus on me more. I'm going to let that happen anyway. And guys, truth be known, I may not last. Everybody else is dead in my case. I'm 65. They can fake anything. They can say anything. What have I got to counter it? But I hope you take this message and understand we outnumber them, and the truth is inflexible and immortal. No matter what they say or do, Romney's lawyers offered me a bribe like KB COO Michael Glazier. You can see it. I gave the information to Matt Taibbi, and he put it in that story, Greed and Debt. Right? And then Rolling Stone got bought out by Penske, and Taibbi couldn't finish. And he's mad at me about it. That's just dumb. If I was him, I'd turn around and thump it back in their face. If they control them that much, be a Joe Rogan. Go wild and go on your own. You don't need millions of dollars a year or hundreds of $1,000s a year. You just need enough to exist on. I'd rather have my integrity and the bed bug bites that I get from cheap hotels, right? This shit, it's ridiculous, right? I'd rather have that than the 3,000 employees and living in a thieves' paradise. I turned down the bribe that Michael Glazier took. And here's something Taibbi missed. Michael Glazier, Taibbi talked about stage stores. I was a whistleblower in that case, and I was a whistleblower in the KB case. Right? You can't see it anymore because Pacer is pulling everything down on all these cases and making dockets disappear. That's wrong too. Under the guise that it's not cost effective to leave it up there. That's bullshit. You can't sell the pages if they're not there. And it doesn't take anything once you put it there in digital realm. It doesn't cost anything. It sits there. It's already there. You paid for it to be there. It actually costs more money for you to bury it and block it out. Anyway, people, the point is that unity is our strength. The truth, the facts are our strength. All they do is they bury and snipe and wipe. They talk about I have too many columnists, that I didn't graduate from Harvard. Well, there's a lot of billionaires out there that didn't graduate, and millionaires that didn't graduate high school, right? That's not an impediment to turn around and doing the right thing. I was there. No matter what anybody says, I was there. I ran eToys, and I said no to the bribe, and they replaced me with Mitt Romney's Barry Gold. Barry Gold sold eToys to Bain KB Michael Glazier, and he worked for him at stage stores. I got the proof. Barry Gold is the one that signed for Paul Traub's law firm to be at stage stores. So Paul Traub was both the lawyer for Bain Capital, Mitt Romney, Michael Glazier, Barry Gold, while he's also the attorney for the creditors at Mattel that's supposed to be against them. Instead, what they did is they worked with him with MNAT, who was also the lawyer for Mattel and Bain Capital and eToys and U.S. Attorney Colm Connolly. I mean, this is a joke. If anybody else says these facts, other than my sweetie, Mary Elizabeth Bullock, Judge Bullock, says it, but because we have a friendship, a kinship, People don't give it the value that it is. As a matter of fact, the state bar in California won't let her bring her bar card out of retirement, because then, even as a felon, I can start to practice law under her and pursue my case in court as part of a law firm. So they won't let her have her bar card back. This sweet woman who has multiple diseases, who is going blind, right? MS, lupus, a weak heart. She suffers all the time, and I can't be down there to visit her because it may bring danger to her front door. And that sucks, right? Chloe, her sweet golden doodle, and bringing her coffee and bagel in the morning, and taking care of her needs and giving her a better life. She earned it. If I had her way with, talking the vernacular and soft tone that she did, maybe my case would have worked better. She praises my writing for the technicality of it. But again, I didn't graduate high school. I deliberately failed English, in a way, that's a good thing. We all speak Twitter speak now, and social media speak, and, TTYL and all that other stuff. But the main point is that other people are starting to see damage from allowing the conflict of interest of federal agents being willfully blind to the organized crimes. And there's a dozen people dead in my case. Robert Alber, Marty Lackner, the brother of a U.S. attorney. And the Wall Street Journal says that's not a case. The brother of a U.S. attorney was involved in the Tom Petters Ponzi scheme that his brother, Assistant U.S. Attorney James Lackner, presided over for years, and told me there was no case. And I didn't find out about it until too late, after I'd already put up the Petters Fraud website and posted all this stuff and all the shenanigans that's going on. They stopped the bidding for Polaroid that was worth $2 billion at $83 million and sold it to the guy who controls, and that's exactly what Doug Kelly said. Doug Kelly was Tom Petters' attorney. And when they tried to seize Polaroid, because Petters was defaulting on the note, Doug Kelly switched sides and became the prosecutor of the Petters Ponzi for the Federal Receiver's Office. And he said that Paul Traub controlled Tom Petters Ponzi. How does Petters and all the guys with him get hundreds of years in prison, and Petters 50 years in prison, and the guy that controlled him and helped him not get 1 day? Instead, he gets Polaroid for $83 million with Gordon Brothers, and Fingerhut, who Paul Traub had at his address, 655 3rd Avenue, New York. You can look it up. It's on the web. Check it on the Wayback Machine. Fortunately, that thing's out there that they can't make everything totally disappear. But Paul Traub had Fingerhut. I was suing Fingerhut as head of eToys. They owed us millions of dollars for making orders disappear. After they locked me out and put Barry Gold, Paul Traub's law firm paid person, they confessed that. And Barry Gold and Paul Traub confessed that they were partners. But the creditor's attorney, Paul Traub, puts Barry Gold in as CEO and president after they locked me out. And the court and the U.S. attorney, Colm Connolly, helped them retaliate and stiff me my money. And then, this is what they do. MNAT, who confessed it's Goldman Sachs' lawyer, and hid it, and destroyed eToys books and records the very first month in the bankruptcy case that was open for 14 years. They said the case would be closed in 90 days. They lied about that. The eToys shareholders asked for their own lawyer committee, which is allowed by law to be paid for by the estate, because they're the last ones to get paid. And this is what's going to happen to everybody else in AMC, GME, and Bitcoin, anywhere else you go. Delaware, unless Biden cleans it up, is deal aware. They make deals behind closed doors. Colm Connolly's assistant is Ellen Slights, and her husband is a judge on the Chancery Court. Colm Connolly, the crooked U.S. attorney, is now chief judge of the district court. And the other 3 judges with him, Mary Nell and Norika, was partner with him in MNAT, and Judge Stark and Judge Edwards, I can't remember. They work for him as assistant U.S. attorneys, burying the eToys, burying KB, burying FAO Schwartz case. The fraud that's right there flat in front of you, except they're making the files disappear, but I got copies, right? They stole 6 locations of where I had backups. I've got dozens now. They can't destroy them all because I assume I'm not going to make it. Dad SWAT visit my door. Those of you that can see it on the internet, right? Call me out by name. Not my roommate, just me. I'm not even registered. Nobody knows my name here. I'm helping somebody else. And they call me out by name, put me in handcuffs, and then they tried to set me up to make me run away so they could shoot me. Anyway, coming full circle. What I'm asking you to do, what I'm pissed about, is people telling me to let it go, leave it alone. It's too old. Think about the precedent that sets. That Al Capone, if he gets away with crimes for 20 years, can retroactively retire. Arrange Frank Nitti to be the prosecutor of Capone cases and then say the statute of limitations apply because Nitti didn't prosecute Capone. Anybody get how stupid that is? How absurd, right? That should make you incense. It's a national security problem because if they're doing this much in open, how much are they doing in secret, behind closed doors, where the other people are taking the bribes, or the other people are getting destroyed or getting cocaine thrown in their car or, bullshit put on their computer. Anybody can do anything nowadays, right? Listen, people, I love truth and justice, all right? I'm sorry I lost my 3,000 employees and that I went from being CEO and at the pinnacle and finally made it to where I wanted to be, one of the top 10 deal makers in the country. And because I turned down and reported a bribe, even my own dad said I was an idiot. Because, my parents were small-time organized crime, raised me to be a crook, and I decided not to be. When I did my stint in jail, I decided I didn't want to hurt innocent people. I just didn't want to do it. So I left New York, and I went doing business elsewhere, and I sold the service. How I became Lazy the Liquidators, I sold the service of me doing the job of stopping people from stealing, because I knew how they stole. There was just a report today about finding a Mario video game buried under a shelf in Toys R Us. The real thievery didn't happen from the people getting stuff out the door. Security guards and cash register people stopped that. The real thievery were the people that worked 10 and 15 years who were being cheated. They're losing their pension. They're losing their lifetime employment. They're losing their 401ks and everything else, because these guys take everything. Those people feeling cheated, they don't think it's stealing to take a Nintendo game that's worth $50 and stick 20 of them under the shelf and mark them with an X lying that they're broken. And then when it gets 10% off, 20% off, 30% off, 90% off, now they bring them out and they legitimately take them to the register and they get 90% off of that $50. So they only pay $5 in tax. And in their mind, they're not stealing. But that's what I knew how to stop. I knew to stop people from throwing good boxes full of good goods in the trunk dumpster and then the truck driver driving down the street, opening it up and bringing the boxes out and splitting the money. That's what we used to do with perfumes. The perfume companies, when the perfume gets old, they throw them away. They didn't crush the bottles because that was environmental dumping. They could crush the bottles at the dump. That was okay. That wasn't environmental dumping. Simple quirks in the law. But how we make most money with Halston and all these other, perfume companies is we would get tens of cases worth thousands of dollars. We'd only have to give the driver $200 and he'd give us the cases. And again, technically that's not stealing, but it is, because when you're selling that on the market, you're depriving the company of selling the real product on the market. And you're creating a cheaper price that hurts the regular market price. These are the things that I learned and refuse to do anymore. That's part of how the good old boys work, skating around the things. The thing is, you're not getting your $25 an hour and up. And those of you that are already making $25 an hour and up, you would be getting $50 an hour and up. But you're allowing these guys to take out $1 trillion in bankruptcies and frauds and other things every year, which shrinks the amount of pile that the rest of us have to scramble for. Become friends of Empower Oversight. Become friends of Serpico. And I know the old cuss, he's a cuss, is 85 years old, mazel tov, right? Power to him. But help him turn around and get with Kerry O'Horn and others and stop the bullshit of this blue wall of silence, which is wrong too, right? Because the judge's wall of silence, the bar wall of silence. You don't go to the state bar to stop corrupt attorneys. You go to the Supreme Court judges. because they're violating the model rules of conduct, the law, the American Bar Association laws on how lawyers are supposed to conduct themselves. But when you go to the Bar Association, that's the insurance company that settles with everybody for a maximum of 25, 50, or a maximum cap of 100 grand, even if it's millions of dollars. You get with Robert Wyatt on LinkedIn down in Florida. All the senior citizens go down there and they get ripped off, and you're forced to go to FINRA because they know you're going to die soon anyway, 65, 75, 85. They steal millions from you and they lie. Robert Wyatt can show you where they forged paperwork and did everything wrong against them and just lied right at them and denied them due process. That stuff has to change, but it won't change until we get together and unify and get stronger. Is this not stronger than this? Right? Get together, man. That's all I say. If they take me out, get together. Right? Each of you become unified. Unity is the key. It's the key to ending inequality. It's the key to making Black Lives Matter. Right? We're starting to care enough as a general population. Right? As a general population, even whites, Hindus, Latinos, they're all getting together to make all lives matter equal, because there is injustice in the world, but we can't tackle it. It's such a huge problem until we start tackling it. Because bear this in mind, folks. Remember this. If you don't fight for justice, they'll damn sure make sure you don't get it. Laser Haas for Social Internet News Network. We're reporting on their sin. Have a great day. Make a difference. Do something good for somebody else.
Hey, it's